And we are back with a What About the Offense edition of the Doin Alright podcast, Bryan. I know the defense is terrible and everybody kind of want to talk about the defense, man, but we haven't given offense much love, so we're going to do that on this lovely Monday. Bryan Broaddus, what's happening, sir?
Doing well, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to be. You have a good weekend? Everything cool?
Everything's straight, man. Everything, going to be all right, man. I love that color on you, Bryan.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Y'all go over there and copy some merch. Bryan, I wanted to make it a point. We were doing a couple shows talking about the rookies and the young guys and all that, but we haven't gotten into the offensive side of it yet. We love to get into the defense because we're going to be keeping eyes on that throughout the whole offseason. Last year we went to camp. I was super focused on O-line.
You were focused on the O-line. Yeah.
This year,
you got a plan for this year already?
I got a plan. I'm going to do front seven, but defense intensive.
Gotcha.
So I am going to keep eyes on O-line.
Right.
But it's like this year, I want to know what the front seven, the line and the linebackers look like.
Right.
That'll be my focus this year.
Gotcha.
But I do want to talk about some of these offensive players, Bryan. And I just want to kick it off like this. the Cowboys offensive line, right? How it's currently constructed. Let me pull this up so I can be proper here. You got your starting five. All right, cool. But then you have a Johnny Cornelius that you drafted last year, Nate Thomas, who was a 7th rounder the year before, some other miscellaneous names that'll get thrown in there, but we ain't really tripping. But the Cowboys made it an effort to really triple up on the offensive tackles. Now they signed Matt Hennessy, who's a center. TJ Bass is around,
guard center
at the end of his agreement.
Yeah,
Brock Hoffman's gone. Hoffman's out of here. I know they got Trevor Keegan, but I don't think Trevor Keegan's stopping anybody from trying to improve the offensive line there. So, Bryan, it just seems like the Cowboys were super locked in and focused on bringing offensive tackle into here. They got 2 offensive tackles at the undrafted free agent, Sidney Fugar and Shyaz Pete, but then they draft Drew Shelton early, in the 4th round.
Right.
Why you think they went so hard on the offensive tackle, Bryan?
Could this be something, you and I've had this discussion before, and it has to do with, and I don't know if it affects or it's in direct correlation to what you have with Tyler Guyton. And that's what we need to figure out now is the addition, is there going to be a legitimate competition between, say, a Drew Shelton, or a Nate Thomas, or a Johnny Cornelius?
Yeah.
Is there going to be? Are we to the crossroads already with what we have with Tyler Guyton? If Tyler Guyton wasn't a 1 step forward, 2 step back guy, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I think that we were even talking about it pre-draft. Well, yeah, let the Cowboys take, fill in the blank guy, whoever you want, whatever tackle you want.
Yeah.
Mawanoa. I mean, if Mawanoa's there, gosh, you got to consider him, right? And so I kind of feel like, though, that we were talking about tackle, and maybe we shouldn't have been talking about tackle in relationship to Terrence Steele.
Sure.
But what's going on with Tyler Guyton?
I'll be watching him close at camp too. I think he made some big strides. He made a huge leap. Kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
Injury's the unfortunate part of it. Like, he really needs those reps, but from where he was the year before to where he was last year at camp, huge difference. If he makes another one of these leaps, I already think it's not a conversation to be had for real. But if he makes another one of those leaps, then I would feel comfortable with him playing tackle for me. Bryan, what's your general report on Drew Shelton? You ain't got to read it line for line, right? But just kind of tell me what you thought about the player.
I think really athletic, outstanding size.
Yeah.
Struggles, though, with strength, which we all know. You guys are really good, loyal fans to me and Voch. You know that I struggle with the guy that doesn't play with a lot of power. Yeah. But this guy, there are times where he is not strong enough. and doesn't get the movement that you would think that a guy of his size and and ability would get. So that's kind of where I'm going into this with the idea that did I get another? And I know Terrence Steele is a lot lighter, but did I get another Terrence Steele, a guy that can play a little bit in space because of the athletic ability, but just doesn't have the ability to hammer anybody? Which Terrence Steele has become a better run blocker.
He's come a long way.
A long way.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you're hoping for with Drew Shelton. Drew Shelton, to me, appears to be a sponsored pick. And when I say that, I'm talking about the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach. Oh, we recruited the kid. I recruited this kid, Connor Raleigh. I recruited this kid at Kansas State. You've got two. Your coordinator is a former offensive line coach, and you have a current offensive line coach. This seems like a very much of a sponsored pick to me, that they have an idea, and I hope they're right about the player. But now you're in a situation with Tyler Guyton, and you're trying to kind of figure that out. I don't think it's about Steele, even though Steele reduced his contract. I think this is about Guyton, and you mentioned all that stuff, but I think this is one of those picks where you go, hey, the coaches got their way with one. There weren't a lot of offensive picks. There were two of them. They didn't have a lot of picks anyway to begin with. But the two offensive picks were made. What was one of them? Offensive line.
Yeah.
I think that comes from your coordinator, and I think the other one comes from your offensive line coach. And I think the Joneses and Will McClay leaned on their coaches for this one. I hope they're right.
Yeah.
The problem I run into, and this happens every single year, and it's happened this way since Doug Free was drafted in the 5th round. The 4th, 5th, 6th round offensive lineman that never works out. But I think the last time I'm not including BB, who they picked in the 3rd round, or Booker. When they pick 1st, 2nd, 3rd round guys, they tend to work out for them. But when they pick somebody in that 4th, 5th, 6th round, we've yet to see. The last one, I believe, was Doug Free, 5th rounder, way back in the day. It's been a problem for this. I mean, look at the guys. I mean, Lyle Collins was a free agent. They've had guys that have come through here.
Hoffman, Bass, Steele.
Yeah. You could say what round? Well, maybe the center back in the Broaddus.
Yeah, Broaddus was a 4th round guy. Yeah.
That Broaddus played well. So I'll stand corrected on that one particular player. But the history will tell you, especially at tackle, they have not found a 4th, 5th, 6th round. And Johnny Cornelius he's a 6th round guy from a couple years ago.
Oregon, yeah.
So I'm still waiting. For that player to show up.
Somebody asked us something interesting, Bryan. They knew that we were fans of Jalen Farmer, the guard from Kentucky. Yeah. Me and Woolchuck, for sure. You kind of hopped on.
I initially I was not there. Yeah. And I think that you and NFL scouts were accurate on the player when you go back and study what you need to study.
Yeah. Somebody asked, why would we want draft Farmer and play him at guard if the thinking is that Tyler Smith is going to stay at guard? Because I was like, why would they draft a tackle and they got young tackles? The person that said it, well, wouldn't they rather draft guard? I ain't want to draft offensive line in the first place. I wanted to just throw some more darts on defense. But the Cowboys wanted to go offensive line. They chose to go tackle. I think they go tackle because they don't want to move Tyler Smith to tackle. Yeah. I'm of the mindset that in the event that there's an emergency, Tyler Smith is going to tackle. Mm-hmm. Like, if Guyton doesn't work, then your next first option is Tyler Smith.
Right.
Because Tyler Smith would be the better tackle than Drew Shelton and these other young guys at offensive tackle here. So in that case, if that's the emergency thing, then cool, Jalen Farmer will go play left guard for you and Tyler Smith will play left tackle or whatnot. If I had to draft offensive line, I would just rather have the better dude. Just give me Farmer, and then he can be the swing interior guy, or he ain't got to play center, but you'll have.
But teach him, maybe teach him to be a center.
Maybe teach him. I'm just all for either go defense or just get the better guy. You know what I'm saying? And you just never know how this stuff gonna end up. Playing out in the future. You know what I'm saying? You might have to move BB or something one day. Like these contracts run out. But I just would have preferred the better player. So for the person that asked, that's why I want a guard. But if it's up to me, I wouldn't have went offensive line anyway.
And during training camp, had a chance to sit down with Clayton Adams, and we asked him the question about Guyton and his injury and stuff, and he was pretty adamant that like, hey, we're trying, but it's hard to get a read on a guy that's not available. And I asked him about playing Tyler Smith. Ideally they don't want to play Tyler Smith at tackle, but he had to play tackle because that was the old best five. They were trying to get in. They were in a situation where they needed their best five. They always need their best five, but they felt like moving Tyler Smith to left tackle gave them their best five. You take a guy like Farmer, I think the guy's got some plug and play. I agree with you guys. I agree with you guys on this one.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have the right view of the player initially, but I think you guys are right about this player. And so, but unfortunately, he's not part of your. But Drew Shelton is.
Mm-hmm.
Is Drew Shelton good enough to push Tyler Guyton? I think there's some similarities between the two players, to be honest with you.
Where does Shelton, based on your film, where does he fit with the other tackles? Is he in front or behind Nate Thomas? Is he in front or behind Cornelius there? Is he behind?
I think, like you like to say, the line.
Sure.
I think the line is behind Nate Thomas.
Nate Thomas is the line. Yeah.
Nate Thomas is the line.
I agree.
It's
because Nate played like 5 games last year or something like that.
Steele is better than Guyton, and I'm not saying it pains me to say that, but I just wish Guyton. I wish Guyton would. If Guyton would have got out of training camp healthy and and got to start and do everything,
yeah,
it felt so much better about that.
Yeah.
And because there were some really positive reps with him. And then you kind of watched, how things broke down after he got hurt and he's not available. He's not, and he's not practicing. And these offensive linemen, especially young ones, they got to practice, they got to play. And he struggled with that. But I would say that Drew Shelton right now is behind Nate Thomas. As far as you got Guyton, and listen, I think there's going to be a real battle at the left tackle spot if they let it happen. I think there's going to be a battle. But you know what you might also find too, Voch?
What's that?
That none of those guys battling are any good.
That's my issue.
Is that your fear?
I just don't think Shelton's tape is good enough.
I don't either.
I don't think he has good enough tape to compete with Nate Thomas this year.
Yeah.
That's had some solid tape starting in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You having a hard time versus the Oregon kids. Man, the Eagles will give your ass a fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've seen Nate play a little bit. I've seen Terrence play. I've seen Guyton play.
Right.
So I think that's the line right there for me with Shelton. As far as wide receivers go, Bryan, Pickens, Lamb, Flanoy, I think they're kind of locked in. Anthony Smith, the 7th round wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up liking him a lot.
Sure.
I ended up liking him a lot. 7th round, like getting drafted kind of gives you a layer of protection when roster building.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when we got these undrafted guys, Jordan Hudson, Camden Brown, I don't really see them being in the fold, really, Bryan. Paris Campbell, I don't think he'll be in the fold neither. I think Anthony Smith's biggest competition right now is Trayshawn Holden, Jonathan Mingo, Kevontae Turpin. I think he's in that tier of guys. I think the top 3 are set. I don't think Marquez Valdez Scantling. I don't think he's gonna be making any kind of
No, I don't
conversations.
either. I don't either.
I think he's a camp guy. You don't
I do
want
too.
to run CD around, a CD around all day. Bryan, I think Anthony Smith's direct competition, especially if he's going to be a teams guy, I think he's dealing with Mingo, more so Trayshawn Holden, more so wide receiver Turpin.
I agree with you. And I wonder, did this team ruin an all-pro player by playing him at receiver as much as they did when you talk about Turpin?
You think Turpin's wide receiver stuff mess with his return stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did they stunt? Is that right? Stunt the growth?
Not the growth, yeah.
Of a guy who's an all-pro returner. Can't did all that work at wide receiver hurt him? And I asked that question. I know you have your question. When I think of Turpin, I was worried. The more I watched him play, the more worried I was watching him play wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like that he now all of a sudden he saw himself as, I've got to maintain. His ability returning as a punt returner, kick returner wasn't as good as it needed to be.
That's interesting, Bryan Broaddus. We're going to tap in with one more comment I got for you, Bryan, because it's something else that's bothering me about this wide receiver group. But before we get into that, Bryan's going to tell us about our good friends at WorldSprings.
Yeah, with the draft being over and everybody's doing all their activities and stuff like that, we're kind of getting back to that, maybe you're going to go out and work out. Hey, I'm going to go out and run. I'm going to go run a marathon, half marathon. I want to go lift more weights. I want to be like Voch and fight in UFC or something like that.
Crazy.
You get doing a lot of boxer. My guy comes in there and he's like, hey, I got a show for you today planned, Bryan, and he's giving me the boxing thing.
I do that?
Like, you're shadow boxing me. You're kind of like, yeah, Bryan, I'm thinking about asking you about these guys. Well, that tells me that Vachi's working out every day.
Okay.
And Voch, when you go and work out, you get sore, you get beat up, and sometimes you fight. You came in here and told me you were sparring with a guy, and he beat you up a little bit.
Beat me up pretty good.
So you need to go to WorldSprings. Yeah. You get hit in the head a bunch. Go to WorldSprings, kind of get yourself right again.
I need a reset.
Need a reset. Yeah. You absolutely need a reset. So make sure that you head over to WorldSprings.com. Use the code CGM for 30% off your soak reservation. It's the perfect spot to relax your muscles, reset that body, get ready for the next session. And one lucky fan will be getting a post-draft recovery giveaway from us very soon, so we'll stay tuned to that. Make sure you go to worldsprings.com, that QR code, click on that, and it'll take you right to their page. They got spa, they got cold dips, hot tubs, they got it all. They even got the Dead Sea over there. You can float around like you're in the Dead Sea. So worldsprings.com. Check them out if you're coming in town for a Cowboy game or just coming in town to do some business or just to hang out. Go check out worldsprings.com.
Mother's Day coming up. That'll be a great gift.
Absolutely.
Kevontae Turpin may get like 2 catches every 3 games.
Sure.
As deep ball, big play guy.
Right.
You see Anthony Smith filling that role better than him because he's
a guy.
He's about 7 inches taller.
Yeah, he's a guy that I thought I saw on Twitter X the other day that you were pointing out. This guy didn't get knocked on the ground.
Yeah.
Ball's going down the field. He's catching the ball.
It happens sometimes, but it don't happen a lot. Like people try to tackle him, they just go out of bounds together.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that will extend and go get that football, and catch it out away from his body, make plays down the field. Dallas always has a knack. These late round draft or undrafted, they got a good feel for these guys. They got a good feel. And I think some of the things that they've done in like whether it's signing or drafting, bringing guys in, they might be planning something what's going on with George Pickens. Maybe they're trying to protect themselves if George decides, but we've had this discussion. I think George Pickens is going to practice and all that.
Yeah.
But I think we're crossroads. I think we're big time crossroads for guys like Mingo. I think are a crossroads. We'll see what happens with Holden. We talked about Camden Brown a little bit, from Georgia. Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah, and Jordan Huss from SMU.
SMU. Keep an eye on those guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Because just mentioned those all of a sudden guys show up, probably practice squad guys. We'll see. But I think Anthony Smith is the one guy that all of a sudden they say, well, listen, we would rather have him over Mingo, and we'd rather have him over Turpin doing those things.
Yeah.
And that very well, one of these guys is probably going to find his way on this roster where they keep him as the fifth guy or the sixth guy.
And having Lamb and Pickens just kind of makes that easy for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, one last one I kind of wanted to get into it with you about is this tight end room.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about limiting redundancies. I think they really try to do that in the tight end room. Whoever the number one guy is, cool. Then you got your block and catch sometimes guy.
Yeah.
You got your catch and blocking sometimes guy. You got your fullback type dudes like Princeton Fant and Hunter Licky. Mm-hmm. Your wings and fullbacks and all that. I think one of each guy can like survive in that.
Sure.
I think your final four is going to look something like Jake Brevin, Ford, Trigg, and Lipke.
Yeah.
That's how I think your final group is going to look, Brian. Where do you fit Trigg in this tight end room? And is Jake Ferguson even safe as tight end one?
Need to look at the money on Ferguson. Is that one of those things where, we did extend him, I believe, a couple of years ago. But was that, and I'm sure there's somebody out there right now watching this and screaming at me like, Broaddus, yeah, you can move on from him. I think I know one thing for a fact. They really do like Michael Trigg from Baylor. The tight end coach has been adamant about that. Lot of conversations. Tight end coaches, he went in there and worked out Trigg.
Jake's making $10 million this year, but you can cut him after this year if you want to.
Yeah.
So 2027,
you can move on from him after that. I think he will probably be in the mix for one more year. But I listen, Luke Schoonmaker has become the punching bag for a lot of this.
Yeah.
Brevin Spanford showed last year that if he extends his hands, he can catch the ball and he can be productive.
Sure.
The blocking aspect of it. Princeton Fant is kind of like the backup to Hunter Lipke because he can
fullback wing guy.
Fullback wing blocker, kind of he's that guy.
Yep.
I'll be interested to see with what they do with Trigg, of course, but also DJ Rogers, who they signed.
Tell me about Rogers. I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, with Rogers, this is a guy from TCU. And where he kind of fits in the mode of he's one of these guys that's a really, really good athlete. 6'3", 245 pounds. You could watch him play the downfield stuff. The routes are good with him. He's got that ability to kind of separate from defenders, run away from defenders. But he is very good underneath. He's very good in the slot, down the field. They went and got them a couple of guys when you start to talk about down the field players with him and Trigg. So I'm wondering if, okay, are we going to have two guys switched out? Are we going to – it's Ferguson, it's going to be Ferguson, it's going to be Spanford. And then now where does everybody else kind of fit?
Yeah.
Behind and will they keep Hunter Lipke, to me, I always look at him as the tight end, so he always counts in that group. So maybe there's only one more spot for one more guy.
Sure.
So the love for Trigg, the love for Rogers, I think everybody else, including Luke Schoonmaker, are on the outside looking in right now.
I think Trigg could start before long.
Yeah.
I think Trigg could start before long. If I think Trigg is going to come in here and do with Dak, and Dak is a big part about all
yeah.
that. If Kellen Moore was a quarterback, if Joe Milton was a quarterback, we have a different conversation. Dak has that knack to elevate dudes.
Right.
Trigg may not be the best blocking guy you want, but if we just talking about we out here and we running plays, we throwing and catching. Trigg the best dude in that locker room right now.
Well, the thing that could hold Trigg back
Sure.
is how committed.
Off the field stuff.
How committed are you to learning the playbook? How committed are you to working every day on your craft?
See, I think the change of scenery is good for him.
Sure.
Because when you're a big dog somewhere,
Right.
you're late for classes.
Oh, yeah.
You may feel like you could talk back to a coach because you a superstar.
Right.
You at the very bottom of this roster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So 4 is the big dog in that room. I would imagine Trigg falls right in line because he's no longer big dog.
Yeah, it's going to be, the talent is clearly there. It's the as you would say, stupid talent.
Stupid talent.
But is he going to be able to do everything that they need him to do to learn the offense, to work out, to fall in line, not to be a guy that's kind of marching to his own drummer? You've already got one of those guys, and he's an all-pro player at wide receiver. You don't need to be this. If you're a rookie, you don't need to. If all things line up for Trigg, I absolutely see where you're going there.
Yeah.
And I think Lunda Wells, the tight ends coach, is to the point with this one that he is going to do everything in his power to make sure this kid makes this football team. And if he has to stay on him the whole entire time, he will.
Yeah.
So, but I think this tight end room is going to look differently, especially with like I say, with Luke Schoonmaker and some others.
If Trigg and his attitude is good to go.
Yeah. You hit on one.
Dak finally got a guy he can just throw it around to.
Absolutely.
But, along with Pickens and them. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Sure.
Bryan, I want to come back tomorrow. Let's do a little bit of Q&A.
Got you.
I'm gonna put the signal out on the socials and my YouTube and stuff. People ain't got a chance to ask questions in a while here.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little Q&A on a Tuesday, and we'll just restart the next day with that and just kind of let y'all ask questions. So what I want y'all to do is in the comments of this video, put some questions if you would like, or if you catch me on Twitter, you can put them over there, or on my YouTube, you can put them over there. I will curate them, and me and Bryan, if it's enough questions, we'll do 2 days of it. We ain't on no kind of schedule or anything like that. So depending on how y'all show up with the questions, we might answer all of them. If you're looking for anything Crown Global Media related, it is on the website, crownglobalmedia.com. Thank you so much to our good friends at WorldSprings as well. But if you're looking for the audio platform, Spotify, we appreciate y'all tapping in on that. You driving trucks and you don't want to deal with the YouTube app, it's wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate y'all. Cop some merch. Bryan with the lovely royal blue Doin Alright with the stack hat. No matter what merch you want or garment or whatever logo, you can get it all there on crownglobalmedia.com. Okay? We'll see y'all tomorrow with some good old Q&A. That's Crown Global Media on Twitter, and I'm Voch Lombardi. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. Crown.